It's so beautiful to see all of you here. Welcome to this session. This is First Timers at EA Global. It's so lovely to hear you having these conversations amongst each other, and I'm so glad that you're taking the time to be here in this session. Of course, as you know, this session is meant to be a brief overview of how you can get the most out of EA Global, and it'll also give you an opportunity to meet other first-time attendees. But again, I'm really glad to see that you're already kind of doing that. So we are joined today by Jain. Anu co-leads Indian Network for Impact in EA Community Network in India. She has been running community building activities in India since 2021. Anu studied literature at Durham University for her bachelor's and is currently a sociology master's student in India. Let's give her a warm welcome. Come on up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this session. My aim is to leave you all enthused and more prepared for this weekend, which is designed to be both intense and fun. I'd like to start out by pointing towards elements that I've seen most attendees find to be quite unique about EA Spaces, and I think everyone here should try to take advantage of them. I'll then move on to providing some recommendations on how to make best use of such features. And I'll introduce you to the conference's many spaces and event types and how to customize the conference to suit your goals. I'll also end with a list of resources that I like and logistical information you might need. So EA Spaces and their unique selling points. I'd like to start by sharing a little story. When I was new to the community, it was a virtual conference, and someone reached out to me to have a chat. And I didn't know that it was pretty normal to reach out like that. And I kind of didn't agree to chat. They wanted to chat about my work. And later on, I went to an in-person conference, and I met this person. We became friends, and he brought up that, oh, you had refused to chat to me. So I was like, oh, well, that is funny and embarrassing. So if only I knew that this is the norm of the space, it would have saved me the trouble. So to help you avoid a similar embarrassment, I'd explicitly like to mention that in EA communities all around the world, it's completely normal to reach out to others whom you don't know yet, and you can schedule meetings with them. People here, whether young or senior, everybody sees everybody as allies, and they're often very willing to support, get into conversations, connect you to relevant people and opportunities. But yeah, do note that many people, experts here, will be receiving a large number of invites. So they might not be able to respond to you, but that doesn't mean that it should stop you from asking, because it's all about asking. It's fine to ask as long as you're polite. And also, while there's all this niceness, people here are generally very good at asking difficult questions, which are aimed to help facilitate their peers' growth. This is quite necessary because EA has super ambitious goals for the world, and dealing with such complex problems does not have simple solutions. So we cannot hope to achieve that goal without a generous amount of effort and willingness to update ourselves on the notion we already hold. So as part of the community, we try to maintain good epistemic habits or hygiene that allow us to do that, such as asking loads of questions without worrying whether they sound stupid. So if there are any terms people use here that you are unfamiliar with, don't hesitate to ask. Most people would be happy to explain what they mean. Secondly, encourage disagreement rather than taking it as an attack on any ideology. So looking at disagreements as opportunities to go deeper and learn new truths. Thirdly, encourage conversations around one's personal uncertainties, because we think putting them out explicitly either helps you resolve them or helps you arrive at new information. So either way, it's a win-win. Also, people here like to be pretty open and direct about the fact that disagreements are handled productively, because they can be a major source of and swift facilitator of growth when you get access to all this quick, intelligent feedback and criticisms on your current thinking models. So it enables you to iterate and update very fast. lastly, EA community uses various approaches to enable efficient and professional work, models such as theory of change building, which is a form of measurable and concrete plan of action. There's also monitoring and evaluation to help track, assess net impact made, and cost effectiveness mindset, which uses resources judiciously and economically, and many more. So these are all very radical ideas for the social space, but people here understand that it's very important to apply them and are often very willing to help support how to apply them in your work practically or your project. So in a nutshell, how can you make best use of the unique selling points that EA offers? Trust that people are your allies and be willing to have your worldview challenged. Know that changing a mind when there are actual genuine reasons to do so is celebrated here. So I encourage you all to enter this weekend and the many conversations that it will offer with such a mindset. Apart from that, entering conversations with some curiosity and a little bit of agenda preparation doesn't hurt. More or less knowing the goal that you want to know, what you want to know, what is your goal, discuss with people here, it helps a lot. So for example, if you might want to learn about the opportunities in AI safety, and for that you might visit orgs at the career fair later today. So you can have, and you can also have one-on-ones with people in AI safety, funders who can offer insight into the kind of work that they're willing to fund in AI safety. Or you might even be like, I want to learn about why animal welfare even matters. So in that case, you could attend animal welfare talks that you find interesting, or meet with speakers at the fair later. You can ask them why they do what they do, and meet with people. You can pick their brain with that background. Finally, also remember to have some informal social conversations, because it helps deepen relationships you make here, so make friends. If there's a lunch table, feel free to ask if you can join in group conversations, because unless they're having a one-on-one though. In terms of what to expect, there are very different formats of things that run here. There are talks, there are group meetings, there are also office hours where you can ask questions, and there are EAGs. EAGs in general are a little bit different from other conferences in that they're more talking conferences. So you don't just go into a talk or a seminar, attend it passively, and come out. Networking is a big part. So one-on-ones, which is by far the most popular and valuable part of the conference. It doesn't even have to be a one-on-one, actually. It could even be a two-on-one, because SwapCard, the app allows you to do that. And on average, people tend to have somewhere between 4 to 20 one-on-ones over a weekend. Some people recommend having more so that you can cover more ground. Some people recommend having less so you feel less tired and you can give your all to the conversations you have. I recommend having as many feel comfortable to you without exerting yourself unnecessarily. There's also a nap room and I think a chill room and spaces to socialize, go for walks. So make this weekend your own, customized to your own aims and needs. Very importantly, as a next step after the conference, I highly recommend following up with the connections you make here, especially the ones you want to remain in touch with. So now, since one-on-ones can be intimidating, a little bit intimidating for the people who haven't done them before, I want to help navigate that a little bit. Let's do some simulation right here. So first of all, everyone, take a minute, take a paper each on your tables if you want. Take a minute to write down your goals for this conference. And remember, no answer is wrong or right, whatever comes to your mind. Yeah, time's up. So great job reflecting and setting up the one-on-ones. Now, I'd just like to take a minute and point you to some of the resources, as promised. So here are some articles and talks that I personally find really valuable and would definitely recommend. The first one, for example, about keeping your identity small, helped me to not take criticism personally as a personal attack, which I think really helped me grow. So yeah, that's really all. Go have an amazing conference, and I'll point you to some logistical information as well for community health support. Please feel free to contact Hannah on SwapCard, and if there's anything you need, questions you have, There are volunteers in bright blue t-shirts all around. They're also a resource for you. And in case you have any further questions about how to approach the conference, there's a workshop in Quayside 2, which is next door, from 5 to 6, right after. So in about half an hour. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.